But right now, give it up for my man, J. Skrilla and B-1000.
I've seen the tracks of the Underground Railroad. No iron filled the fields, and the only steel was William, who had a skill and will to be the messenger to manufacture the message like a massage from the Messiah. I've seen the tracks of the Underground Railroad, and there were no subways or trains, just blood stains, mud stains from a plain Jane that had to sustain and maintain a mainframe and maintain a mind frame that when change came they would lay claim. I've seen the tracks of the Underground Railroad. It was full of conductors who instructed and directed and protected the defectors because they understood the only crime these men had committed was theft of their own black limbs and theft of their own black heads. You see, the only crime these men had committed was theft of themselves. But they were indebted to the collectors and faced being kidnapped and arrested. I've seen the tracks of the Underground Railroad. And there were no elaborate stations, just brave slaves patiently waiting their day to escape to places and faces evasive to races and replace their displaced faces with elation from the indoctrination. Emancipation of our nation was their only proclamation. I've seen the tracks of the Underground Railroad, and there was no engine or caboose, just loose roots from a used noose, cause he was big and black like Bruce. So every day he got hit like YouTube, cause he refused to use his hands free like Bluetooth. They say the grass in Kentucky still appears to be blue too. Indeed, it still feeds, it sees all the blood that we bleed, but ironically the greed is what impedes it from becoming green. I've seen the dead tattered trees along the Tom Bigsby and the peg leg patterns that map the pathways to the windows filled with lanterns, and you look towards Saturn and follow the drinking gourd. You see, that was the old Negro spiritual when decrypted and decoded just meant that the stars was north. But there was no Yaki number 9 or watermelon seeds or empty 40-ounce bottles and chicken bones. Nah, there were dead bodies and Negroes' bones and big old homes on acres where Negroes roamed. And to this day, the word nigger is the only thing that niggers own. Not that I condone, I'm just a stepping stone where mindful issues can be known. Instead of 40 acres in the mule, all he got was him and his nigga. So he left out the ER because the emergency room is filled with them, victims of a vindictively vicious system that systematically really lynched us and put us against us. See, I spilled beer near the pier where the murderer of Emmett Till used to chill for a thrill when he had time to kill. But everyone knows you cannot kill time because time kills all. But time heals all. I've smelled the fear on a trail once saturated with tears, arrowheads and spears, and even found a follicle of Indian hair because they were here way before we. And in the beginning, the path to righteousness was not towards the north. You see, that's a common misconception. In the beginning, the quest to freedom was not towards the north. There was a southern corridor in Florida where the Spaniards and Seminoles helped the Negroes because they understood that life was not just physical, it was spiritual. And you had no right to own an individual because we were a miracle before America. I've seen the many unsung heroes, not just Frederick Douglass or Harriet, that awaited a sweet chariot to swing low and carry me home. But Miss Tubman wasn't just bluffing. She knew her people were suffering. Her freedom wasn't enough, so she became the conductor, and she often used to brag. My train never ran off track. I never lost one passenger. Nobody ever turned back. I've seen the tracks of the Underground Railroad. I set upside down next to Henry Brown in a box made by Samuel Smith for shoes and socks. I read the decision of Dred Scott. I visited Harper's Ferry. I carried the caskets of John Brown and Thomas Garrett. I read The Liberator by William Lloyd Garrison. I read the North Star in the book that William Steele authored. I crossed the waters too challenging for the martyrs. I quivered and shivered at the river because I wasn't a good swimmer, waiting for a band of angels to deliver me to Ripley, Ohio, in the Hill of Liberty. I visited the homes of John Rankin and John P. Parker. I seen the patents and inventions of things that he started. I walked the halls of Oberlin College, which educated the daughters. I seen the places women were once raped and boarded. I seen the faces of men beaten and slaughtered. I seen the harbor. So just remember, on the next 4th of July, as you celebrate your independence, it also marks the day that America began enslaving my descendants. And history will repeat that if we don't keep track.